Hello everyone, it's me, Woodencup. This is my very first commentary video, and I'm new to this whole YouTube thing, so if you guys could give me any helpful tips, please leave them in the comment section or email me through my Gmail that I will have placed in the description. Before we start, I need to mention that there will be constant mentions of sexual assault, murder, suicide, and if you are uncomfortable with these topics, please feel free to click away from this video at any given moment. Without further notice, let's hop right into the story of today. One cold evening in South Chicago, July 13, 1966, an average day in North America. Unbeknownst to everyone, that would be the day 8 out of 9 nurses will be brutally murdered by a man named Richard Speck. The lone survivor is a woman by the name of Corazon Amurao. Before we actually jump into the story, we need to understand who Miss Amurao was. Corazon Amurao was a transfer student from the Philippines, along with 2 other Filipino nurses, Valentina Pasion and Merlita Gargudo. The women came to the United States to have a better start and have a better pay. Due to the shortage of nurses in the United States at the time, they were accepted with ease. The trio made a lot more money in Chicago than they did in the Philippines, in which they sent most of their earned money back to their families in their homeland. Although they were thousands and thousands of miles away from their homes, they made a home amongst themselves by continuously keeping their culture and staying in close touch with their family members through heartfelt letters. People who knew Corazon only spoke good things of her. She was very strong in what she believed in and was very determined. Despite her small build, she was a very powerful and intelligent woman. She was a straight-A student in her youth and always had the ability to quickly adapt and conquer any situation. This made Corazon stand out and looked up to by her peers and teachers. On the night of the massacre, Corazon returned from a late shift to her bedroom, in which she shared with Merlita. After an average mundane routine, she headed to bed around 10:30 p.m., but just before she could lay down, she heard a knock at the door. There, she opened it and was met with a man soon to be known as Richard Benjamin Speck. Richard supposedly disguised himself as a maintenance man and then pulled a gun on Corazon and Merlita. Richard was armed with a .22 caliber pistol and a hunting knife. With such weapons, he forced them to empty their purses and wallets, and thereafter he forced himself onto Corazon and her roommate. He later gathered the remaining 4 nurses and used their bedrooms' bed sheets to tie them up after cutting the sheets with a hunting knife. While he was searching and gathering, Merlita, Corazon, and Valentina escaped from his ties. This gave them time to hide while he was still looking. While he was running the house through, Gloria Davy, Mary Jordan, and Suzanne Ferris were out, but came back at the wrong time. He faced the knife towards the young ladies and started to plead with them, saying that he just needed money to make it to New Orleans. Corazon heard the women believing them and telling Valentina and her to come out of their hiding spots, that he just needed help, but Corazon knew he came with the intent to kill. After Valentina and Merlita came out of their hiding spots, he lost count as he brutally beat, assaulted, and murdered them all. And he did not even notice that he's forgotten the one woman who's opened the door for him. While he was on his killing spree, he lost count and left. At 6 a.m., Corazon came out and she was faced with a gut-wrenching scene, something no one should ever be put through. Corazon proceeded to scream for help and went out on her roof and called for help for about 20 more minutes. When she called the police, they started an investigation, and later we find out that Richard was attempting suicide in a nearby hotel and changed his mind last minute, then was admitted to the hospital. His presence raised a suspicion as a connection to the murder. The authorities were unsure if they should even ask Corazon considering the trauma she's been through, but Corazon accepted to see who their suspect was. And instead of going hysteric as the authorities thought she would, she stood firm before the heartless man that laid before her. And she was 100% sure it was him. And what also helped with the evidence is that he had a tattoo that said "Born to Raise Hell," in which she recognized. It said that Richard was drunk during his killing spree and he has visited a few local bars before the attack, which in my case still does not justify what he has done, not as if anything actually could. They also say that Richard had a very checkered past in his years of youth, and was in and out of juvie his whole childhood. Richard was also raised in a strict Christian household. Reportedly, he was known for abusing women and had multiple charges of assault, robbery, and much more, though he always seemed to escape questioning in jail from police officials. Richard was surrounded by police when he woke up, and the woman who would soon end his spree of unruliness. He was sentenced to death, but at the time in the state of Chicago, they did not agree with the death sentence, so he got a life sentence of 1,200 years. Allegedly, he died at the age of 49 by a heart attack, but this idea of him being dead is still unsure because he was also spotted with fully developed breasts and looked like a woman after his supposed death in the same prison. What do you guys think about that? It's alleged, but it's still something to keep in mind. Corazon is now 79 years old and still keeps in contact with the victims' families to stay in touch. She never stopped being a beacon of hope and love and persisted with her nursing career even after the tragic event. The public officials of her time only knew her to be loving, brave, and strong, a real idol to look up to. A quote Corazon gave when asked how she survived was, "You are surprised I survived, but I come from a place where they make balisong. Why should you be surprised?" What really doesn't add up with me are a few things. If he was supposedly drunk as they say he was, why wasn't he less calculated and weaker? Last time I checked, alcohol can make you violent but not strong, considering he assaulted, attacked, and murdered 8 women in just about 8 hours. Another part that stands out to me is that prior to this tragic incident, Richard has gotten away with sadistic behavior within the law multiple times. He's escaped questioning and has a bad record overall from police. It almost seems as if they never wanted him to be locked up in the first place. Seeing that he transitioned after his supposed death makes me wonder if he ever actually died and served his prison sentence. I don't know. We obviously know that our judicial system is corrupted, so it's possible that he actually got away and faked his death. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I also left my resources in the description if you want to check them out. And it would be amazing if you guys could give me recommendations on what I should make a video on next. With that being said, I love y'all. Goodbye.